Are you struggling to make your educational content pop on YouTube and Instagram? Today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down the exact content creation process from coming up with the idea, to scripting that idea, to filming, to editing, and then preparing it to post. This is gonna be a banger. Let's get into it. This video is gonna be broken down into 4 parts. The first phase is going to be talking about the relevant filming gear that you need to shoot great video content. The second phase is gonna be planning, so I'm gonna be sharing with you some specific resources that I, as well as my clients, use to basically come up with ideas in filming content. The third phase is gonna be actually filming the content, so I'm gonna show you exactly what my setup is and how I shoot content myself. And the fourth and last phase is gonna be taking you through a step-by-step editing tutorial through Final Cut Pro, which is the main software that I use to rough cut the video content. Anything is great, okay? And what I mean by that is that you can use something as simple as your phone, as long as it shoots 4K. So here is the iPhone. I believe this is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So this shoots in 4K, so you can put this as horizontal style or vertical style, depending on the type of video content that you're shooting. So obviously you would want to get some type of tripod that would, connect with this and that you would set it up accordingly. What I do love about this iPhone is that, especially if you're shooting like vlog style, say that, you're covering your vacation or you're doing like behind the scenes of your business and you hold it out like selfie style and you walk around a lot or move a lot, it's not going to really affect it that much as opposed to using like a mirrorless camera. So the next piece of a camera equipment that I would suggest using is just a normal DSLR/mirrorless camera. So this is called the Sony a7 IV. I've had it for about a couple years now and I absolutely love it. What's great about it is that it shoots both photos and videos. So it's a perfect hybrid shooter. And then with this, it comes with a detachable lens. So this is like the 17 to 28mm lens. But yeah, I use this a lot for talking head videos. I will say though that using a camera of that magnitude, it's gonna break the bank a little bit. So this camera in particular was $2,200. There are more cheaper options that are out there, but for me, I'm team Sony. I love using Sony, so I'm willing to pay a little bit more of a premium for a type of camera. Last but not least, I have a super good camera that I would suggest any content creator to get, whether you be super experienced or brand new to content creation. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. Brah, I'm telling you, this one is so good, especially if you vlog a lot, you go on vacation. This thing is just extremely powerful because it has a built-in gimbal, so you don't have to worry about having any type of shaky footage, and it shoots 4K 60 frames per second, meaning that the picture is gonna be just super pristine. Really, really good. And what I also love about this is that shoot this horizontal, but you can also shoot vertical. So it's gonna be shooting vertical content for you as well. And what's also great about this is it has a face detection mode. So all you would have to go is here, click on your face, and then it should, once you hit record, is detecting, boom. So basically it's gonna follow everywhere you go. So this is especially good, like when you're just, look at that. So like, if you notice, the gimbal is moving with my face. So if you're shooting by yourself and you wanna just put this on a tripod and you're walking around, this is like very, very good. Next up is audio. I love using the DJI wireless 2s. I'm actually wearing one, I'll show you the other one. So this one is basically like a wireless transmitter. You can connect to your shirt, as a magnet here. So you can put it like within the inside of your collar. I love using it because you don't have to worry about any wires tripping over them during filming. And also the connection is very strong, so it's not gonna cut out. I've used tons of wireless mics in my heyday, and these are by far the best. So basically the way it would set up is, you'd have this as a transmitter, you connect it to your camera, or you could connect it to your phone. It does have connections to your iPhone or Android or whatever as well. And then you have the readers here, making sure that your audio levels are good. And last but not least, we have the lighting. So for me, I'm a huge proponent on using natural light. As you can see, I will turn myself. I like using natural light the best, but in a more studio-like setting like this, I like to have 2 things. 2 types of lighting sources. So I have my backlight here that is behind me. So because my brand is more like orangey yellow, I like to stay on brand with my videos. And then we also have the Lume Cube light. I love these because these lighting sources aren't as harsh as the other LED panels that are out there. And so this is very soft lighting, and this is great because you can actually connect it to your desk as well. So it's a really, really good setup. So with that said, if you don't have like the Lume Cube or whatever, you know, natural lighting is good. You can always get LEDs, and also those big like light box, soft boxes they call it. You can use that as well. I've used those occasionally, especially when I'm filming clients. So any of those sources are good to go. This part of the video is just gonna help you to become better at researching topics, okay? And so if you watch some prior videos that I've done, I specifically go into massive detail on that, so definitely check that out. But I'm gonna just share with you just a couple resources that we're gonna be using for this specific type of content that we'll be shooting today. One of my go-tos that I love to go to is Google Trends. And because it's so great at picking out what people are searching for all over the United States when it comes to Google, it's wild. So what you want to do is, you know, you're gonna have to log in with your Google. You could type in anything that's trending right now. So for example, because I'm involved with social media, videography, and things like that, I would type in social media. Let's see what comes up. And so as you can see, this gives you live data of what people are searching on Google. What I like to do is to keep it where I live. So United States, obviously. Let's go the past 12 months. Categories, I just go all categories. And then web search, I like to do YouTube. And the reason being is that my strategy, me personally, is that I'm focused a lot more on YouTube as opposed to like, I post consistently on Instagram as well. But as far as like growing the brand, YouTube is where it's at. I'm gonna go here, and it's also split by state and also like by demographics. And also it's gonna give you other related topics, which is massive, right? So you have breakout topics here. So for example, I'll be taking notes. I'm gonna go here, and usually what I do is like I type in, okay, social media strategy. So that's a huge one. To 2024, so right here, people are searching that. People are searching oldest social media trends, boom. This is really helpful info. It's gonna help me build up some type of video topic to discuss. For example, social media strategy, boom. Okay, let's go here. Let's see how it's going. So you notice how everything was kind of dead here, and now it just jumps up, which is understandable because we're heading into the end of the year. People are wanting to be like, you know, 2025, man, I wanna step up with my personal brand and everything. They're basically going in and they're researching, trying to prep themselves for the new year. I can just be like, okay, I can do a topic surrounding this, and I can include some other keywords, you know, marketing, Instagram, if I want to make it like hyper specific, you know, content strategy in general. So this stuff is really, really helpful. Just for the sake of the length of this video, I'm just gonna pick this one. So social media strategy 2024, but I'm gonna make it 2025 because I want it to be very relevant to what's going on, because I want to be able to post this. Today's November 21st, so if I post this next week, it's basically heading into December, so it's kind of like in those last 4 weeks before the year starts. Another tool that I love using is Answer Socrates. So here, kind of similar to Google Trends, but it's for the entire internet. So you can either go to trending topics, or again, you can type in your keyword. Let's stick with our keyword, okay? So I'm gonna type in social media strategy. So here, boom. So it's gonna just come up with other categories. So what's great about this is that it's gonna give you questions. It's also going to give you just really a lot of topics right here, see? So like you can just screenshot this, and then you can just roll with a series of videos connecting with this, right? So you could even type in like real estate, fitness, cooking, things like that. And as you can see, this is up 54%, okay? A little bit is connected to Google Trends, okay? So, and then what's great is that you have the questions, you have prepositions, so it's like, it gives you a list here, gives you comparisons, which is always powerful. For the sake of this video, we're just gonna go into here and just pick something, okay? So what's something that's like, ooh, I like this one. Have you started planning your social media strategy for 2024 yet? Ooh, that's a good one. So I'm basically but we're gonna change this to 2025. So I'm just gonna basically go in here and just be like, okay, this is pretty cool. This first one is even good too. Like, what are some trends? That's always a good question, just to see what's working and what's not. And then, so even if I just do one right now in this session, I can always do these other ones in future ones. Okay, so now when it comes to outlining and scripting, so again, I do a prior video that goes into massive detail about template that I use to basically separate it from a hook to the body of the video and then the call to action, okay? For the longest time, I did not like ChatGPT because it just sounds so robotic. It seems like everybody was doing it. But now with the huge improvements that they made on the platform and on the technology itself, it's just hard to ignore, to be honest. And so I've added that to as part of the brainstorming session. And usually what I do here is I ask ChatGPT for a specific outline, and whatever outline it gives me, I don't just copy and paste it, okay? I basically just QC it or quality control with it, and I just use it as inspiration in developing the bullet points that I want to do. Obviously, you know, the social media strategy, I'm gonna add my own nuance to it because I firmly believe, for example, that Instagram and YouTube are the most powerful platforms on earth. And when you do a healthy mix of short form content that is trending and then search-based content that's on YouTube, that is just a very, very good combination that's gonna help you get qualified leads and help you get more attention with your videos. What I do here is basically, you know, chat, just, I mean, I don't do any of those fancy props. I just kind of just have a conversation with chat, just be like, hey, you are, I always give it a compliment first. For some reason, I just like doing that. Boom, so, okay, yeah, so it's basically asking for these things. So basically I would just go in and be like, hey, I would like a 60-second or less outline on a short form video specifically made for Instagram. This is about the best social media strategy for 2025. Please, so this is when your nuance comes in because you want to include some of your expertise as well. So please include the importance of using YouTube and Instagram as part of your strategy. Okay, so you're gonna go in, boom, it's gonna load up. So it's gonna give you some hooks. So from here, it's like, for me, I like to just kind of talk through my hooks. Sometimes I'll use the ones that ChatGPT suggests, or I'll just create ones just based on other research that I do. Like for example, going into the Reels tab on Instagram, seeing what's performing well and just kind of deriving hooks from that. So as you can see here, you look, want to dominate social media 2025, here's the strategy everyone will follow. Yeah, so it's kind of like, yeah, is it enticing? Yeah, a little bit, it is, but it's a little bland, so I'd probably rework this a little bit. And then in 2025, social media success isn't about quantity, it's about quality on the right platforms. That's pretty strong. 2, you can't ignore YouTube and Instagram. Boom, okay. YouTube is your powerhouse for long form content. It's search-based as well, so that's when I would like kind of add in more words and things like that. Instagram short form for reach, which is true. Instagram is still unbeatable for short form videos and community engagement. Yes and no, I mean, TikTok has its pros as well. Reels are king of discoverability. Cross-remote teaser, okay, call to action. Want to future-proof, da-da-da-da-da, okay. This is a pretty good like bullet points right here, right? So I would basically look at this and be like, okay, this is something I can work with. This can be the skeleton of what I'm basically looking for, okay? So I'd basically go in because I'm taking, so this is perfect here because what are your priorities? My priorities is gonna be YouTube and Instagram. This is the reason, right? I would just basically copy and paste the outline here. And then now I'm gonna spend, you know, the next 5 minutes or so, just kind of tightening up some things. So like, have you started planning your social media strategy? So this is kind of like this obviously isn't the hook, but it's just like kind of the foundational question. And then want to dominate social media 2025, here's the strategy, everyone. So asking a question or hook is always a good thing because it kind of captures people's attention. But I think something that's even more powerful would be, here's the strategy no one is talking about. Boom. There you go. So we're gonna try that hook. We're gonna try that hook. We're gonna say it a variety of times. We're just gonna go into it. So in 2025 social media, so for me, this seems a little too wordy for me. So basically I would like to just go right into it. So basically it would just be like in 2020, so that's kind of repeating. The two platforms I would personally focus on are YouTube and Instagram. Because you just want to be quick hits, baby, quick hits. So yeah, so basically I just go in, kind of sharpen this up a little bit, and then get ready to film. Okay, so I have my script ready to go and I am ready to film. Okay, so I have my camera ready to go. We are in film mode, and make sure like when you're always looking in the lens, I know it's tempting to look at this, the viewfinder, but make sure you're always looking at this lens, okay? With that said, I have my script ready to go. What I like to do when I'm shooting here at my desk, I just have it on my computer screen, so if I make any mistakes at all, I can basically just go back to it and go back to the camera, okay? So this one, I spend the most time on the first like 10 seconds of the hook, right? That's the most important part of the video, in my opinion. That's really gonna get someone's attention to prevent them from scrolling. So I try and put as much energy as I can in that first 5 seconds. So the hook is basically, want to dominate social media in 2025. Here's the strategy no one is talking about. Okay, here we go. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. A little bit quicker. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. So pretty happy with that. I think we have really good options that we can basically play with. And again, when we go through the editing session, I'm gonna rough cut this before I send it out to my editing team. And so now we have that done. We're moving on, okay? So I kind of changed up the script a little bit based on the last scene. And so basically the next sentence is going to be, I call this the 2-pillar power plan, because the gist of it is to be able to propose a type of strategy that is going to be used in 2025, right? So it's like another tip is good to use, like, what's that word I'm looking for? You know, I like to say like, put your own name or label on certain strategies, right? Like something that's just not really heard too often, because that kind of brings up people's ears a little bit. So in this case, I call it the 2-pillar power plan. And what that is that it's going to be taking advantage of having one pillar that's going to be educational and informative content, and then another pillar that's entertainment and trending, okay? I call this the 2-pillar power plan. So again, when I go through the script, as much as possible, like for the hook, I like to have that memorized and I say it through, but everything else is kind of just free flow, okay? This bullet point says this is when you have one pillar that's educational, informative content, while the other pillar has more entertaining or trending content. So this is when one pillar is educational, informative content, and the other pillar is more entertainment, trending content. Okay, so that's sounding good. And there's no better two platforms that I would focus on. And there's no better two platforms I would personally focus on than Instagram and YouTube. I'm gonna say that one more time, because here's why I forgot that. I like to have all that in one sentence. And there's no better 2 platforms that I would personally focus on than Instagram and YouTube. Here's why. That felt really good. So here now, I'm still into the body. I'm still going. Okay, here's the bullet point. YouTube, because it builds long-term authority, and Instagram, because it will amplify your reach. So here, like I can already envision the edit. This probably wouldn't have me on the screen. It'd have like B-roll. And I'll be sure to show you the final video of this. It's gonna basically have like a moving background and then text with voiceover, okay? So just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna look into the camera and do it, but this will more than likely be a voiceover. YouTube because it's going to build a long-term authority, and Instagram because it's going to amplify your reach. YouTube because it's going to build a long-term authority, and Instagram. YouTube because it's going to build a long-term authority, and Instagram because it's going to amplify your reach. Amplify your reach. YouTube because it's going to build a long-term authority, and Instagram because it's going to amplify your reach. Here's more. Okay, boom. YouTube is the #1 platform. Trust and keep your audience engaged. Boom, boom. Okay. So basically it's saying like YouTube's the #1 platform for building trust and keeping your audience engaged. And not to mention it's the #2 search engine on planet Earth. So search-based content. So I'm just gonna do that next sentence because I can break this down a little bit. So what also helps is that more times than not, you're gonna have to like just break down the sentence. So if you have a longer paragraph, just break it down and you can always just take care of it in editing. YouTube is the #1 platform when it comes to building your audience. No, that is not building trust. Okay. YouTube is the #1 platform when it comes to building trust and keeping your audience engaged. Not to mention, it is the second biggest search engine in the entire world. Not to mention, it is the second biggest search engine. Not to mention, it is the second biggest search engine in the entire world. So search-based content or in other words, search-based content or videos that can be searched. So search-based content, or in other words, a simple search, so search-based content or videos that can be found through a simple Google search. So search-based content, or in other words, videos that can be searched through a simple Google search can help you get found on a grand scale. Instagram is still unbeatable. Okay, so I kind of did a little humor on this one. Not sure if you'll think that's funny or not, but. So Instagram is still unbeatable when it comes to short form video and building community engagement. Don't act me, TikTok. And the reels on the Instagram platform will continue to be king. And the reels feature on Instagram will continue to be king for discoverability. Okay, so now we're close to the call to action, okay? So now we're just gonna do the final line. So having a good blend of both educational and entertaining videos is gonna give you a healthy... So having a good blend of both educational and entertaining videos is all the more gonna put you in a position to attract. So having a good blend of both educational and entertainment videos. So having a good blend of both educational and entertaining videos is all the more going to put you in a great position. So having a good blend of educational and entertaining videos are all the more will put you in a great position. See, gotta keep doing it. Having a good blend of educational and entertaining videos is going to put you in a great position to attract opportunities. For more content like this, make sure you follow your boy. Boom.
And something to keep in mind while you're shooting is that, especially if you're starting out, it's really going to take time to just be comfortable from the camera, right? So for me, it's like I like to just really get my body loose and ready to go. So prior to this, went for a walk outside, just kind of decompressed a little bit. And if I'm like not really in the mood to get things going, I'll watch some comedy like on YouTube. That really just gets me really relaxed and ready to go. So aside from that, with these specific talking head videos, I'm going to be sitting down. Standing up helps a lot with energy. And for me, because I've been doing this for years, I can basically do both. But if you're starting out, I would definitely suggest standing up in your videos and getting that started.
Okay, so now we are basically at the editing portion of the video, and I want to share with you just some quick tips that sharpen up the content a little bit. So as you can see, I use Final Cut Pro for all my rough cuts, and as I told you before, when I first started Praise Media, I did everything myself. Rough cutting, the actual editing, graphics, what have you. Now I'm at the point where I can delegate like 90% of it out, but there's still times when I do rough cut footage, especially when our queue is filled up. So I'm gonna show you here with Final Cut, but you can also easily do this with CapCut, because CapCut and Final Cut are pretty similar. So I've already put in my SD card, and so here's the file here. So I want to go here, Michael Cuts. I'm going to start a new file and just name it whatever. So I'll just go Michael Short 1. Boom. So for me, I like everything at the highest possible quality. So you could get away with 1080 by 1920, but I just like to keep it at 4K, 2160 by 3840. And then I always shoot at least 30 frames per second on the camera, as I mentioned earlier. With that said, you just press OK, and then here you go. Here's your main thing. And so what you want to do is just drag your content here, and then you're going to drop this on the timeline, and you're going to let it load a little bit. So a little quick thing that I like to do. So this is the actual clip.
Okay, so pretty happy with that. Dominate social media.
Okay, so I like to cut out all the fluff first, but before I even do that, I like to use something called balanced color. So basically what that is, it kind of just equalizes all the color that's within the scope of the video. So it doesn't like change the colors too much. I just like to do that just to make sure, okay, everything is at its most real color. Okay, and then at the same time, I also, even though I use wireless mics and the audio is pretty crisp, I like to use something called voice isolation. And so what that is that it just brings out the voice a little bit better, and it kind of gets rid of the, any exterior environmental sounds at the same time. So depending on how much you need, I like to keep it like the 30-ish range, and it just makes the audio just a little bit more crisp, okay? As you can see, we have a variety of different types of hooks.
Happy with that. I think we have want to dominate social media in 2020.
So obviously
want to dominate social media in 2025.
So that's a mess up. So I'm always gonna get rid of all mess ups immediately, okay?
Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about.
Boom, okay.
Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy that no one is talking about.
Okay, that's a little weak. I want to say the last one was really good.
Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. Okay, so social media in 2020. Want to dominate social.
Okay, so that last one was.
Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about.
Boom. So that's done. I have a lot of like talking or whatever, so we're just gonna go through
that
it.
kind of brings up. It's gonna be taking advantage. So again, when I go through this is when one pillar. So this is does not really occur too often. I like to say like put basically the next sentence is gonna instead of it is the real right? So it's good to what's that? Put your own name or does not really occur too often because that kind of brings up in some. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with it. And again, when we go through the editing, and so basically the next, what's that something that's
Make sure you just cut through all this stuff.
Occur too often because it's going to be taking. I call this the no one is talking about. I call this the 2-pillar power plan.
Power plan. Boom. Okay.
So again,
So we're talking.
So this is when one pillar.
So another key is just cutting out all the ands, ums, dead space. Just get rid of all of that because you want to make these as quick hit as possible because at the end of the day, you have one opportunity to make a good impression. So you want to just be as concise and as quick hit as possible with the content, okay? So I'm cutting out all the fluff.
So this is when one pillar.
All the mess ups.
This is when one pillar is educational, informative content, and the other pillar is more entertainment, trending content.
Boom. Okay.
And there's no better two platforms.
Okay, so we're just gonna.
And there's no better two platforms that I would personally focus on than Instagram and YouTube. Here's why.
Boom. Okay. So we're just gonna go through this as so.
YouTube because it's gonna build a long-term authority. YouTube because it's gonna build a long-term authority, and Instagram because it's gonna.
Okay. So we're gonna make a cut there. Boom.
YouTube because it's gonna build a long-term authority, and Instagram because it's gonna amplify your reach. Here's more.
Boom. Okay. So.
Basically, it's saying like YouTube, so search. Not to mention, it is the second best. YouTube is the number one platform when it comes. YouTube is the number one platform. It's the number one.
All the fluff.
YouTube is the number one by your reach. Here's more. YouTube is the number one platform.
See, right here, perfect example.
Here's more.
Even that small, tiny dead space, we're getting rid of that.
Here's more. YouTube is the number one platform when it comes to building trust and keeping your audience engaged.
Boom. Okay. So you make sure.
Mention it is the second best. Not to mention.
Boom. Okay.
Not to mention it is in keeping your audience engaged. Not to mention.
There's a little dead space there.
Your audience engaged.
So the smallest of dead space.
It is the second biggest search engine in the entire world.
Boom. Boom. Okay. So now.
Search-based content or search-based content or so.
We're just gonna keep going, keep flowing.
Search-based content, or in other words, videos that can be searched through a simple Google search can help you get found on a grand scale.
Okay, next.
Content like this, for more content like this, make sure you follow your boy.
Boom. Okay. So out of a 11-minute clip, because of all the mess ups and me talking through it, it is a 56-second clip. Okay, and that's just rough cutting. Okay, so let's just play through it real quick.
Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. I call this the 2-pillar power plan. So this is when one pillar is educational, informative content, and the other pillar is more entertainment, trending content. And there's no better two platforms that I would personally focus on than Instagram and YouTube. Here's why. YouTube because it's going to build a long-term authority. YouTube. Here's why.
So just still a little.
YouTube because it's going to build a long-term authority. Instagram because it's going to amplify your reach. Here's more. YouTube is the number one platform when it comes to building trust and keeping your audience engaged. Not to mention, it is the second biggest search engine in the entire world. So search-based content, or in other words, videos that can be searched through a simple Google search, can help you get found on a grand scale. Instagram is still unbeatable when it comes to short-form video and building community engagement. Don't act on TikTok. Having a good blend of educational and entertaining videos is going to put you in a great position to attract opportunities. For more content like this, make sure you follow your boy.
All right, so that's a pretty good rough cut. Okay, so we're rough cutting it.
Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about.
Yeah, so basically, boom, that's it for as far as the rough cut goes. So from here, I would essentially send this over to my editing team while they add in the captions, the graphics, and things like that. With that said, I just let it render, and then next, I'm just going to do the export. So again, I just make sure it's gonna export at 4K, just save it on my desktop because I'm gonna send this over to my editing team. And then from there, they basically add in all the graphics, captions, I approve it, and then once it's good to go, I download it and then post it. With that said, here is the final video. Want to dominate social media in 2025? Here's the strategy no one is talking about. I call this the 2-pillar power plan. So this is when one pillar is educational, informative content, and the other pillar is more entertainment, trending content. And there's no better 2 platforms that I would personally focus on than Instagram and YouTube. Here's why. YouTube because it's gonna build long-term authority, and Instagram because it's gonna amplify your reach. Here's more. YouTube is the #1 platform when it comes to building trust and keeping your audience engaged. Not to mention, it is the 2nd biggest search engine in the entire world. So search-based content, or in other words, videos that can be searched through a simple Google search, can help you get found on a grand scale. Instagram is still unbeatable when it comes to short-form video and building community engagement. Don't act me, TikTok. Having a good blend of educational and entertaining videos is gonna put you in a great position to attract opportunities. For more content like this, make sure you follow your boy. So I hope you got a ton of value from this video today, covering every aspect of the content creation process, from coming up with the idea to filming it to editing it and then getting ready to post. If you have any questions about the process at all, be sure to comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you're interested in working with my media team, be sure to hit the links down in the description as well and set up a free call with us any day or time, and we'll be able to connect with you and learn more about your goals and see if we're a great fit. Until next time, stay blessed.